fits. Then do it again and again, stacking grants for the great grands. What the plan is.
Picture this, right? You got into a car accident, and the paramedics couldn't do anything. Your body's damaged so bad that you didn't make it. And in seconds, you wake up in the midst of nothingness, just pure blank. And there's one person there. That person is God. And God tells you, son, you are not living one life, you are living one of many lives.
So we live more than once?
Yeah. What the fuck does that mean? So, welcome to Touchin Grass, and we're going to talk about the X story. And what does it mean really, even though...
We only live once though, okay.
Yeah, sure. So it's like, this is the crazy part.
Okay.
See, let's first explain, have you heard of the X story before?
Not really.
So it's...
Then I'll get a hint from you. What does
yeah,
it mean?
yeah. So it's a short story written by some random dude that goes about explaining the feeling of feeling of emptiness that we all have. Like, what's the meaning of life? Like why do we bother living life? And why should we bother getting new experiences in life? You see what I mean? So that's the whole point. It just tries to explain that physical aspect. And this writer says you are living multiple lives, and each life that you live, you are reborn into another one. And at the end of the day, when you have gained a ton of experiences of multiple lives, you sort of ascend to be God.
So like how do you know like you have lived before? Or you never know, you don't remember
You
or
don't.
anything?
You don't.
So how is that theory valid? Like
It's...
you said you have to pass through many experiences to know what life means, to have different experiences.
Yeah.
That's why you have to die and be reborn. How will I remember? How will I know that I have experienced this before? Yeah.
It's because there is many incidents people tend to have reported throughout their lives. There is one guy who said they can remember when they were still in the womb of their mothers.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I don't, but apparently there's more than one person who does. And there's people who are like, there are kids who have reported to like their psychiatrist saying they have memories of other lives. Say if they're like baseball players, some others have even descriptions of a life that could be traced down in history. So this one kid was saying, has memories of going to this car accident, having a family and all that, as like a kid saying all this kind of crazy stuff. So they tried to follow up, like look at history books. They found it was actually there's a similar description of the same person who had a car accident with the family. So it kind of gave the idea that this kid, there is no way this kid would have known this. He must have lived another life. I think
He was a kid.
Yeah, a kid.
He was not grown up.
No.
Oh, okay. Now I understand. I was about to say maybe he read that somewhere.
No.
Okay.
So it's also, if you want to know how this might be true, is if you have heard of the Indian beliefs of like reincarnation. There's like an Indian belief that believes in reincarnation. It's like if you die, you get
burned.
You get, besides getting burnt, you are reborn as like say an insect, a cow, or a grasshopper. You get reborn into a new creature.
So you have to experience another life of not being a human being, but being an animal.
Being an animal, being anything else really. So
Okay.
it's the idea that life on its own, it's like a circle, and life is kind of happen like it's recycled.
But it could have been interesting if you could have remembered. Then we would know that in the past life I've learned this. Then in this life I have to correct this. Yeah.
But why?
But why don't we remember now? We have to remember.
Why would it be interesting though?
It will be interesting, like maybe you dream or something about your past life or something like that. It will have been interesting, and you will have many experiences. Like each life will have a meaning. But not remembering, it makes like each life not meaningful. But if you had remember each life like that you lived, you'd have learned from each life.
Probably, but I think that's
And you can use that idea in another life.
yeah, that's a perspective of life. It's only important in perspective if the lessons you gain from life are important in another life. But sometimes, like the whole idea is the lessons you get aren't supposed to be helpful for you in another physical life. They're helpful for you as like growth into the eternal life.
So
For you to be, like to be spiritually matured, you need to live the physical life first.
yeah, but what's the point of living many lives?
Different perspectives. The saying that goes, try living or being under my like in my shoes. That saying.
Like I said, it wouldn't be any point if I don't remember. At least if I remembered like how your shoes felt.
You want to live
Then-
forever, don't you?
I want to live forever, like truly.
Well, boo-hoo.
Truly, even if it's
Yeah.
just this life, I want to live forever.
Yeah, boo-hoo. that ain't happening. It's like that ain't happening anytime soon. It's like it's have you seen this show called I forgot this name, but there's one show about the God of Dreams.
Dreams.
Yeah, it's
You
on
get to
Netflix.
say things through dreams.
No, so the whole point of this show, there is a God of Dreams. A God of Dreams, like lives forever, for he's a God. But at
Yeah.
some point in his journey, came across this interesting human being. Right, this interesting human being. It's set around like in the 1800s. He's a guy who's like a soldier under the crown. His whole motive in life is to get women, get the treasure and money, and then try as much as possible to live forever.
Yeah.
So this God of Dreams walked up to him and asked him, "Do you really want to live forever?" And he said, "Yes." The God of Dreams said, "Okay, let's do this. I'll give you the chance to live forever, but we're gonna have to meet up after every 100 years. Let's meet up in the same bar, right? And then I'll ask you again whether do you still want to live
Forever.
forever."
I
So
think every time I would say I want to live forever.
yeah, so this is what happened, right? The show sort of gives you a glimpse of how time flies so fast and how much the perspective of the man changes. But this guy was interesting. After 100 years, he met with the same the God of Dreams in the same bar. After 100 years, he came back as like with riches, women, right? He came back with all that. The guy asked him, "Do you want to live forever?" And he said, "Hell yeah." 100 years passed. He met the guy again. This time, he was nowhere to be seen in the bar, but he was outside begging of the
The
bar.
God.
No,
Ah, the guy.
the guy.
Okay.
Also the bar begging, broke, beaten up himself. And the guy asked him, "Do you want to live forever?" In a bit of hesitation, he still said, "Hell yeah." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, listen, 100 years passed more, right? This guy became a king, squashed all his enemies, became king, ruled over kingdoms and all that. He asked again, "Do you want to live forever?" I said, "Yes."
Yeah.
This is the most interesting person ever. He at some point started complaining, saying, "I've watched my kids die, my wife die, everybody I've loved die." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was asked again, "Do you still want to live forever?" He kept on saying,
Yeah.
yes. So up to a certain point, the God of dreams stopped showing up. He just stopped showing up. And then he gave this guy almost like 300 years of not showing up.
Not
He kept on,
showing
yeah, he was not there. Then the God of dreams showed up in the 400th year. He pulled up to the place and basically looking for the guy. And the guy was nowhere to be seen, so he went out searching for him. And fortunately found the guy and asked him, "Do you want to live forever?" And he said, "I don't know anymore. I've done it all. I've seen it all." And you know why that happened? It's because from the movie's perspective, it's simply him
He lived many lives.
many lives besides that, the god of dreams became his familiar face, a friend that could also live forever. See, you living forever could turn into misery if you're doing it all alone.
All alone, if you don't know anybody, yeah,
Don't
true.
know anybody.
That's true.
It's the
very
same.
true.
It's like that thing. I don't want to say this because like out of context, but the concept is that hell is other people.
Okay. And if the person dies and he gets to be reborn again, and if they remember their past life, they'll dwell in what was
Dwell in the
back.
past, yeah.
And those people are no longer in this new life.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. It wouldn't make him or her move forward, like start another life really, like meet another people really, grow really. They'll be thinking about the past life. That makes sense.
Yeah, which is true. It's like if you've seen Avengers, Thanos says, "You could not live with your failure, and look what that brought you back to me."
Oh, you can control your failure. You had to.
Yes,
come
and
back
then
and
he went on saying, "I know what to do now in the aspect of earning Earth and humanity, is to get rid of everybody who remembers the past."
Yeah,
Anybody who cannot let go of the past.
of the past.
So the solution is to essentially burn the whole thing to the ground and rebuild it, because that new birth, they don't
New
remember anything.
experience. Yeah, you have to have a new experience, so you have to forget about all the past experience to have a fresh start.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's bliss for you.
yeah. Now you've answered my question why we don't remember when we are reborn.
Yeah, true. But the other thing is, I think, personally, from my personal experience, I think if I had lived multiple lives, if I remember them, I will not bother with a lot a lot of the things that I'm trying to do now. If I live a life before this one, I remember the previous life. I'll look at certain experiences right now that I'm going through. I'll be like, it's not worth the effort.
Yeah, this has
This-
happened before and it was not worth the effort.
What's the effort?
Okay.
It's. Let me give you another example. It's like,
But still, what's life without like fighting battles and getting there every time, celebrating every victory and stuff? If you remember the things, you won't be able to, like, I don't know what to say, I don't know how to keep it, but you will know things have already happened before, so
Yeah.
nothing excites you, nothing like gives you pain anymore, because you've already passed through every pain, you've already become strong, and you've already know like, I don't have to dwell in this. So you won't like have emotions, you won't have feelings, you won't feel things, you'll just see like, I've already passed through this, so like I'm just not gonna give a fuck about this anymore. Do you understand?
yeah, you sort
Like
of
maybe you start school again, maybe you're another person, you're
Hell
born,
no.
you start school again. So if you remember about school,
Hell no.
you will act, you won't act yourself, you will act upon your past life. Like this happened like this, I want this time to happen like this. Like you won't be like living life, I don't know how to keep it,
Yeah.
but you won't like experience it from like
yeah, it's
out of nowhere.
You won't
will
be
have,
in the present.
yeah,
essentially.
you won't be in the present.
won't be in the
That's
present.
the point. You have to leave your past behind.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. I mean, it's like, okay, so besides just that,
And you will know if I die, I'll be reborn again. So like you won't even care if you're gonna die or no. You just like even if I die, I'll be born again. And people do a lot of suicide if their life is boring. They say like, I'll just die and be reborn again. Yes.
so are you familiar with something called like wisdom? Do you believe wisdom exists?
Yeah, wisdom exists. Solomon asked for wisdom.
Yeah, so exactly the same thing, because I want to bring about the Bible exactly, and how when someone tells you, say, brother, don't waste your time doing this, it's going to fail, right? My always comeback is because it's like goes like saying, How do you know? You've only lived one life and you're still living life. So it's probably worth the risk, right? So what is wisdom? And how do you go about gaining wisdom? And I think this is what we've been like
But
overlooking.
wisdom is not created.
Hmm.
Wisdom happens out of nowhere. Like I don't know what to tell you, but you don't create wisdom. You're either born with it or it's just a gift you're given by God.
Is it not acquired?
No, if it was knowledge is acquired but no wisdom.
Mm.
Wisdom is never acquired.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
Mm. So that was the premise of the X story. It's like the premise of the whole X story was something called universal wisdom. Like to attain God's level of wisdom, you need to live multiple lives. And that's why from the Solomon's perspective of like him deciding whether saying if you are the father, to know which one is the father between those two when they argue about the kid, let's split the kid into two.
Yeah.
It's because to understand each individual father's perspective,
You have to be a father.
you have to be a father.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
You will know how it feels
You
when
know
you're
how it feels when that is being called upon, right?
Yeah,
And not everyone gets to be a father
yeah.
in the first try, anyway, until you've lived multiple lives.
Because people okay because
You
said
can, yeah, you can be a. Sometimes in one life you can be a father,
and
in other life
you can't be a father.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
I get it.
that's how you're gonna get wisdom. If you can get, if you're not born within this one life,
You
it
get
will
it.
probably be acquired by the spiritual, like spiritual growth, I guess,
Yeah.
to generate something called wisdom. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's the best part. I guess that's all for episode. Keep up and listen on like Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and that's like Touchin Grass episode 3. Her name is Angela, with your host DFP, and this has been
Hit
Touchin
my
Grass.
phone,
See you guys.
hit me up, shout, let me know if you proud about it.